Hi there everybody, this is David, and the Game Boy Advance, or the portable SNES as I like to call it, really did have some great games on it, though sometimes people did kind of unfairly label it as just like a port machine, and yeah, it does have a lot of ports, but it also had a lot of really cool, unique titles too, and first among them is easily the Golden Sun duology. And in today's video, I want to tell you about these amazing gems and just how they've all really just stood the test of time. And if you are new to the channel, please be sure to show your love by leaving a like and also subscribe for some more top 10s, news, and reviews. And now, let's go ahead and dive deep together into this duology. On its surface, you might be forgiven for thinking that this is just like another generic JRPG with turn-based battles, a 4-member party, a world map, plenty of towns and dungeons to explore, and, well, yeah, it does have all those trappings of a traditional JRPG. There is just so much more under the surface. We are talking puzzle mechanics, an intricate job class system, a brilliant storyline that was so big for the time that it couldn't even be packed into one cart, and it had to be separated into 2 distinct games. I mean, we are talking about an absolute masterpiece duology here. And don't you dare start thinking that this is just some sort of by the books wrote JRPG, because this wrote the book on how JRPGs should be done. First, let me go ahead and begin by giving you a brief, spoiler-free overview of the games. And I do mean games, because again, the second game is an immediate follow-up, beginning a minute after the first game ends. And each game follows a different group of protagonists, but all of your protagonists are magically attuned adepts, and they specialize in one of 4 different elements, each ruled over by a different planet. Earth adepts are attuned to Venus, fire to Mars, lightning to Jupiter, and water to Mercury. And each of these elements are controlled by one of 4 different lighthouses scattered about Weyard. In the first game, your quests involve the trek to the Mercury and Venus lighthouses, while the Lost Age, the second game, covers the Jupiter and Mars lighthouses. All of the games are set in the world of Weyard, where your heroes are tasked with preventing the release of the powers of alchemy, while at the same time the antagonists are just hell-bent on releasing alchemy in order to control its massive destructive power. And of course, the keys to unlocking this ancient power are hidden away in those 4 elemental lighthouses. And that's pretty much all I can say about the storyline itself, because anything more would invite spoilers, and again, I don't want to do that here, but just be aware that you were in for a doozy. None of your characters are one-note or generic. Everybody talks, everybody has a personality, and the world of Weyard is massive and expansive. You really only cover about half of it in the first game, and then the second game has you traversing the other half, so don't think that Golden Sun 2 is just a rehash of the first game, because it's not. You get all new characters, all new towns, all new dungeons, all new everything. And towards the end of the second game, you actually get to meet up with the party from the first game. And what's really cool about that is that they implemented a password system, so that whenever your parties do meet up, all of your stats from the first game and your items and all that other kind of good stuff, it all carries over. They really did think of everything here. You begin in the small village of Vale, a town of adepts, and they kind of keep to themselves because they're entrusted with the safekeeping of Mount Aleph. But unfortunately, at the beginning of the game, the mountain erupts, and this sets forth a chain reaction of events that starts off the game as tons of elemental djinns are scattered all over the world. So, a secondary task for you, in addition to safeguarding the lighthouses, is to find all those djinns, and in doing so, you're able to power up your team, as the djinn not only give you new powers and stats and magical spells, but if you equip them and then you mix and match them, say by combining the Venus and the Mars djinns together, you can even initiate class changes. It is an incredibly complex and involved system, and I just adore it. Each of these classes not only has different stat gains and growths, but they also grant you different synergy, which are essentially the magic spells of the game. But unlike the vast majorities of JRPGs out there, you don't just use your magical spells in battle. Half the time, you're using them outside of battle too. So yeah, you do have your basic attack spells and your healing spells and things like that, but you'll also be getting spells such as Growth, which allows you to grow vines to climb up, or Catch, which allows you to grab far-off objects, or Move, which lets you push and pull things around, or Freeze, which turns puddles of water into ice. And you can even read people's minds. How cool is that? And keep in mind, all this is barely scratching the surface. There's so much more. Remember Lufia 2 on the SNES and how their dungeons were long, involved, and complex, and just filled to the brim with some brain-bending puzzles? Well, the same thing's happening here in Golden Sun, only it's much more organic because of the way that you use the synergy. You're not just restricted to hook shots and bombs and arrows here, and even more importantly, you use your synergy everywhere. Yeah, you can use them in dungeons, of course, but you can even use them in towns. This is a truly living and breathing world. So, now let's get down to this battle system. If you just looked at it on the surface, it would look like any other normal turn-based JRPG. And at its core, it is, but of course there is more to it. This is Golden Sun after all. You can attack physically, or you can cast your synergy spells, or you can summon Jin to help you out in battle. And here's how that works. The more of a specific elemental Jin that you have on a character, the higher level summons that they'll be able to unleash, up to a level 4 summon. However, once you summon those Jin, they're going to no longer be attached to your character. So if you summon a level 4 summon, then you're going to lose 4 of those Jin on your character, potentially even demoting them to a lower class, and then having them lose stats and even unlearn certain spells. But then each turn, each of those Jin will kind of wake up and then reattach to your character. And after 4 turns have passed, your character will be back to normal. It might sound a little bit complicated, but it's actually really intuitive and really cool and fun, and it makes you make strategic decisions insofar as do you want to unleash an insanely powerful summon? But if you do, you have to deal with those consequences of having a less powerful character in all the subsequent rounds. It really does become a nerve-wracking decision during those harder boss battles. And just as something as simple as attacking isn't all that simple here either. Remember how whenever in, again, Lufia 2, you had those IP attacks, and each weapon and armor had their own various IP moves? Well, there's something similar here too. The vast majority of the weapons have an unleash attack associated with them. However, they do seem to be rather random, but they do happen often enough, 25% of the time or so, to definitely be noticeable. So many times, whenever you do get a new piece of equipment, you might have to analyze it and say hey, maybe these stats are better, but is the unleash attack better? You really have to think about what to equip your characters with to get the most out of them. It's little things like this that just push Golden Sun above and beyond all those normal, everyday, average, tropey JRPGs, and it pushes this into masterpiece territory, alongside other games like Radiant Historia, the aforementioned Lufia 2, Earthbound, and even Chrono Trigger. There is a reason why these two games have stood the test of time. The characters are endearing, the storyline is engrossing, the world feels very alive and involved, and there are secrets around every corner, and that battle system, it's just one of a kind. So if you're looking for a great series to get into, now is the time, since these have been announced for a release over on the Nintendo Switch Online service, and I guarantee that you will just adore them like I do. So that's it for my spoiler-free overview of what this Golden Sun duology is all about. Let me know how you feel about the games, and if you played them back in the day like I did, or if you're going to be playing them for the first time now. I cannot wait to read all about your experiences with these fantastic games. Let's get a discussion going on here, and let's all talk and chat about it, because I'm always in the comments too. And if you like what I do here on the channel, please head on over to the Patreon to sign up for early access to my videos, as well as behind-the-scenes photographs. The link to it is over in the video description. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a good day.